Welcome back to the third part of this video, in which we take our videos from the Insta360 X5 camera and export it with Adobe Premiere. In the first part of the video, we talk about Insta360 Studio, the desktop app that can be used for exporting video files. Then in the second part of the video, we use Adobe Premiere to load the Insta360 video files and export it as a 360-degree video, and also export it and also to edit it as a vertical format video in 9:16 vertical video format. Now let's continue the editing of our video in 9:16 format. This is the format that we will use to upload into Instagram and social networks. In the last video, in the part 2 of the video, we've created this project. We call it the Reel project. We applied the reframe effect. We do that so that it will hide the finger and the arm from the videos. So just to recap, if we turn it off, we can see that part of my arm or my finger is showing here. That's why we do a reframe to do a slight tilt that will remove my arm from the video. Now we could have just simply exported this whole video as a vertical format video. And to do that, we will just simply do a file, export, send to Adobe Media Encoder, the same way that we did for 360-degree video. But notice now that our output format is quite different. So now it's vertical format video, 9:16 at 4K. 3840 is quite close to 4K. But notice that now instead of VR format, we have to remove it. Okay, make sure that video is VR is unchecked, because when we export this into social media, Instagram format, it will not allow you to view the video in VR. We will not be able to move and pan the camera in 360 degrees. So this thing must be unchecked. Now notice that there's a bug in the Adobe Media Encoder. Sometimes even though it says that video is VR, it's unchecked, but we export it, it's still in VR format. So to do that, I will always go in and check, uncheck, and click OK. This will make sure that the output format is really plain flat video, not in 360-degree format. Right? I'm not sure why this happens, but I have to do this always. And then you can just export this. But of course, the problem with this is that this is a very long video. It's a 33-minute video with lots and lots of stuff in it. So it's not good for publishing on social media. Nobody will watch a 33-minute video on social media. So that's how we'll do a lot more editing to trim it down into 30-second clips, maybe 4 or 5 videos, 30 seconds. And in this video, we'll talk about how we do this editing. But if you're perfectly happy with this, just simply click here, Start Queue. It will encode into a MP4 file, real MP4, all 33 minutes of it, and you can do whatever you want with it. But today we'll focus on trimming down the video and putting music to it so that we can make it more interesting for social media. Let's head back to our video. Now, before we start editing a video, we have to look at the interesting problem about reframing. How do we want to present our 360-degree video in a vertical format? Let me draw something to illustrate this. So what we're doing essentially is that we have a 360-degree video camera. It looks like this. So we have a camera that captures 0 to 360 degrees. And it will go this whole way around, right? Now, our job here is that we want to convert this into a vertical format video. And this becomes quite tricky because pretend that this is the video format that we're doing. The video format is quite squashed. We have very little leeway here. Everything must fit within that tiny little slot of vertical video. The question now is that how do we want to frame it? Now, framing means that yes, we have recorded this whole thing, from 0 degree to 360 degrees. But which part of this do we want to show in our vertical format? How are we going to pick the interesting bits of it and show it in the video? One way of doing it, the simplistic way, is to simply do the front. Everything at the front, we'll just crop it, frame it into a vertical format, apply some distortion so that you can see a bigger field of view. But it's not going to be very interesting. This is just a video of me running straight forward. We'll see the front. We will not see the scenery by the side. We will not see the trees and other people around. So this is not very interesting. Instead, what we do is that we'll try to switch the framing. We'll use the Insta360 framing so that we alternate between different views. One interesting view is going to be, let's say, on the left, right? Imagine turning your head all the way so that it goes a bit to the back. No, we won't go all the way to the back here because only a ghost can do that. But we will do it up to like this, certain angle. So it's like giving the impression of looking to your right, behind. And this will give you a very interesting perspective. And now we will do a transition. We will do an animation, an effect, such that we will gradually transition the view, from the right towards the center. And then we will do the other way. We will slowly move our camera, our view, from the center to the right, to the left. And we'll position it left behind. It's like turning your head all the left behind. Once we're done, we will move back into the center for a natural transition. I'll explain that in a while. What we're trying to do here is that we are reframing the video in a way that looks natural. We are not trying to do very weird tricks where we are going to spin the camera all the way 360 degrees. That would be very unnatural and very weird. But we are just trying to simulate the effect of somebody turning their head right, turning their head back to the center, and turning the head left. And we will see that in the effect controls that we apply in a while. So just to recap, we are going to start. Okay, we're going to have one point here. Right, so we have a center. And then we have another point here, which will be our right, R. And then we have another point here, which will be our left point, L. How we move upon these points? Now we could start at the center, the right or left, but let's say we start at the right. When we start at the right, we will do a transition from right to center, like this. So the camera angle will move from here to here, and we'll give it a fixed delay. We'll do this in 3 seconds. From center to left, we will also do 3 seconds. Once that's done, we will move back from left to center, again in 3 seconds. Once in center, we can move back to the right in 3 seconds. To just recap, let's say we start at center, or we start at the right. We start at the right, we move to center in 3 seconds. From center, we move to the left in 3 seconds, then back to center in 3 seconds, and right in 3 seconds. So this gives a more natural feel to it. We don't start spinning the camera around too much and totally disoriented our viewer. Now, of course, again, to prevent disorientation and to make sure that our viewer has time to focus, we will pause. After we turn from right to center, we will pause for 2 seconds. When we move from center to left, we will also pause for 2 seconds. And when we move from center to here, to right, we will pause for 2 seconds. And this is the actual sequence. We will wait for 2 seconds, move to the center, wait 2 seconds, move to the left in 3 seconds, then wait 2 seconds and move back. So 2 seconds is for our viewer to reorientate themselves to a new perspective, and we give it 3 seconds to give it sufficient time for the viewer to adjust the orientation. If we make 2-3 seconds too short, it will appear to be spinning, which we don't want that. It will get totally disorienting. And 2 seconds is a good time for our viewer to focus on what's happening in the video. One more thing that's important is that the transition. Yes, we can do this for one single clip, just moving right, center, left, center, right, center, right. This goes on and on for a single video clip. But that's going to be very boring. And we've got 30 seconds in our Instagram video. We have to make it short. If we do a lot of cuts, do a lot of transitions, the way we do that is that as we move 3 seconds from center to right or center to left and vice versa, we have time to do transitions into the next video clip, which means that, let's say we start at right. We have 3 seconds here, right? And we switch to the center. As we switch from center to right, we could actually have a transition. A transition into the next video, so that as we switch to the left view, it's actually the video of a second clip, not the first clip, right? You get it? Which means that as we at the center point, we're right to center, we're looking at the first video clip. But as we move from center to left, we are switching to a center clip. And we do this transition in 2 seconds. 2 seconds because so that it appears, it's going to be a fade in, fade out, cross-dissolve kind of transition. 2 seconds so that it doesn't look too abrupt. It doesn't look like, whoa, suddenly change. But it's going to be a gradual change in 2 seconds, meaning that there'll be a transition of 2 seconds, then followed by 1 second of the rest of the video without transition. And we will do this all the way, right? We can play around with it. We could do the transition here, or we could do the transition here, 2 seconds, and we could also do the transition here. Our challenge is that we need to fit a lot of clips into our 30 seconds of video. And to do that, we need to do this kind of transition to mix in all the videos. And in a while, we'll also see how we do a match cut. As we transition from one video to the next, we'll try to preserve the same motion. Notice that we are now moving from right to left, right to center in 3 seconds. As we transition to the next video clip, we will also try to preserve that same motion. This is what we call a match cut. A match cut is when we transition between two clips with the same kind of motion. Our motion is from right to left, right to center. Then our motion is from center to left. If we have two clips that will follow the same transition within the same duration, 3 seconds, and we do a transition from one clip to the other clip, it will look more seamless. Maybe let me illustrate by showing some examples what we mean by a match cut. Let's look at some examples from our past videos. We go back to our Finder. I have a SSD here with all our videos. Let's say Kelang Run. Let's look at this reel here. Now, as we look at this reel, you can see that it starts from the center. This is the center view. Then as we go on, notice that we move to the right, and the motion is in 3 seconds. As we continue, you see what happened here? We actually move from right back to center in 3 seconds, but the clip has changed. Because if we look at the video here, there is a cross dissolve, a fade in, fade out transition, like this. And that's how we do a mix cut. The motion we have is the same. We have two clips that are moving from center, from right to center. And because the two clips have the same motion and we do a cross dissolve, it will appear quite seamless. The effect's more interesting over here. Let me show you this part here. So this is looking at center. Now center will now turn to left. If you look at this clip here, see that it's now turning to left. And we see some condominiums here. Now as we turn to left, we pause for 2 seconds and we prepare to turn back to the center. Now something interesting happens. As we do that, you notice that the condominium smoothly transitions into a HDB flat. So we look at the whole transition again. So this is what we call a match cut. Because we have we have two videos moving in the same direction. As we do a transition, a 2-second transition between the two, it will look quite seamless. We have another example here that we can pull out. Let's say at reel 4. Okay, towards the end of the video, we see something quite interesting. So notice that it still follows the same format, except we start at the right. Then we move to the center. Then we move to the left. So we still follow the same format here, except that there's no transition here. Except the transition happens here, using the same motion. So here's an interesting example of a match cut. We do so right here is a right to center, center back to right. You notice the match cut above here. So we have two clips that are moving from center back to right. As we do the transition here, it looks quite nice. And that's why we do a match cut, by matching the motion so that we preserve this kind of pleasing transition between the video clips. In this video, we talked about doing these transitions from the center view to the right, to the left and all that, and how we're going to transition them through a match cut. Please join me in the next part of the video where we actually implement this in Adobe Premiere. We'll see how we do the effect controls so that we can have this motion from center to right, center to left, and also how we do Premiere transitions to do this very smooth match cut between the views of center, right and left. Please join me in the next video in the description below. Thank you.